Good morning, everybody. Oh, early on this morning, I've got some cool stuff for you. Now, if you haven't been on before, my name is Jason Yee from Train 2.0, which I might change the name to something else shortly. Stay tuned. Look at the hair. This is the best part of my morning, is checking my hair in the live webcast that I'm broadcasting to everyone. So the reason I'm here is for players who are trying as hard as they can, but they just don't feel like they're getting anywhere. They might be missing some key pieces to the puzzle that the drone coaches are unable to show you. I was in your shoes as a player. I worked very, very hard. Like, you'd actually be like a little probably thrown off with the shit I went to. And we could go into that another day. But I went full tilt, tried everything, and a lot of it didn't work for me. So I had to kind of do my own digging, do my own research, and what I've learned, I'm now sharing with you guys, the beauties, the smart ones. So, here we go. Today, we're going to talk about what separates the top 6 NHLers from the bottom 6 NHLers. And I'm going to read the description here that's below, and then we'll talk about that. Hey, Ross, glad you're back. So, I'm going to explain the science behind the magic of the top 6 NHLers. And I love it when I'm on YouTube or posting on YouTube and people think I'm actually talking about magic. Maybe I am. Who knows? But it really isn't some sort of mystical force what I'm talking about here. But it has to do with the way that the top 6 NHLers learn. Okay, so drone coaches and surface thinkers, they struggle with a concept that I'm calling the look-feel paradox. Okay, so I posted a video on how Connor McDavid skates, right? I said he pushes from his heels. Now, the reason that the surface thinkers and the drone coaches didn't like it was because there's a difference between the feel of what's happening and the look of what's happening. So the surface thinkers, and remember, these are the people who, if they were driving the Titanic today, would still smack into the friggin' iceberg, right? Because they're looking at the tip and they say, oh no, that's all there is, right? That's it, just the surface. And then kablamo, the Titanic, bang, they smash the Titanic right into the bottom of the iceberg where the meat is, where it's really happening. So these surface thinkers, they go, oh, that's what it looks like it's happening, so I'm going to coach that, right? They don't understand the feel. They don't understand it. And so with the McDavid, how he's crossing over, I say he's pushing with his heels. And if you pay attention to the top coaches, you're going to see, like, the top coaches, remember that, like, 98% of them are not, right? If you pay attention to the top coaches, they're teaching this too, okay? But they're not sharing their secrets. Anyway, I'm not either. But the heel push, right, is a feel thing, but it looks like the toe is coming off. So all the drone coaches and surface thinkers are saying it's the toe. It's the push with your toe. Push with your toe. That's fine. Keep teaching that. It's really the players who are losers in this situation, and I don't mean losers in the bad sense, like they're actually losing out. So anyway, the other interesting thing here, I'll talk about that another time, but so there's a separation between the look of something and the feel of something, and most drone coaches don't get it. And you're right, it is a hard skill to grasp. All of these are hard skills to grasp. That's why a lot of people do such a horrible job at coaching it. and why you might see people who have freaks of nature setups in their legs. They might be bow-legged, who are the only ones who can get it because they do it by accident, right? So to further illustrate my point, I'm going to let my man Bruce Lee here take over.
Kick me. Kick me. What was that? An exhibition? We need emotional content. Try again. I said emotional content, not anger. Now try again. With me. That's it. How did it feel to you?
Let me think.
Don't think. Feel. It is like a finger pointing away to the moon. Don't concentrate on the finger or you will miss all that heavenly glory. Do you understand?
Don't think, feel. That right there, that line right there separates top 6 NHL forwards from the bottom 6. How do I know this? Let's say a pretty knowledgeable person in this field, I once listened in on one of their presentations. Let's say he's probably like the best in the world. Said this, that the top 6 forwards on a team, is what separates them, is the top 6 forwards, they say, tell me how it should feel. Bottom 6 say, tell me how it should look. Right here, I don't know where you are in your hockey development, but right here, if you change how you're coaching or how you're learning to become more of a feel-based learner, right there, boom, you can take your development to the next level. So, because this happens all the time, I get players who just simply can't learn because they like take in these cues and they cannot process it. Now that's not their fault; it's my fault as the coach, right? It's my responsibility. So that's why I've designed drills that are feel-based that you cannot fail at. I call them the source code drills. So it's my goal to make these drills not some sort of cones you go through, but a feeling that you get. Now, there's some players that reject and say, no, just tell me what to do, or they don't understand it and they pretend they do. These players, unfortunately, I love them, but they will not succeed. They will not, right? The players that succeed are the ones who can hear a cue, process it, and understand the feeling of it, right? So if I am verbally giving communication to someone and they're very good at taking that verbal communication, translating it in their head into kinesthetic feeling, they're going to be very, very fast learners. Alternatively, if the coach never has to give a auditory cue at all, you can bypass that whole process and the player gets it faster. This is something I call going from 0 to 1. Now, I didn't come up with that term, but I'm applying it to hockey. Now, the idea is that this is a Peter Thiel idea for you startup aficionados. So 1 to N is like any type of marginal improvement. So if you're working on your shots and you're like, well, if I am shooting 100 pucks a day and I'm going to get, I'm going to get 1% better a day. If I shoot 1,000 pucks a day, I'll get 10% better a day. That's great. You're probably right? It'll probably get harder. Or we could go in, find the missing piece of your shot, right? Find that missing piece, say, here it is, and then the player transforms, okay, without having to do all this extra work. So that is creating a skill, because it was never taught before. It would never have been learned through reps, and a wizard coach is going to do that. And so what I'm telling you right now is, if you become or focus on becoming a feel-based learner, get very, very good at being a kinesthetic learner as a hockey player or any sort of athlete, and I'll explain the science behind that in a second. If you get very, 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 very good at that, you can create a whole new skill for yourself that's going to transform your game. Now, the source code drills are set up to teach you how to have this feel-based learning style, and these are in the membership area, okay? They're set up to teach you to have this feel-based learning style like this. Now, I was going to say something. I forgot about it. Oh, the science behind it. So here's the idea. People talk about learning styles. Okay, the science behind that is pretty BS and like 1980s, as far as I'm understanding. You have a most efficient learning style for your task. So if we're doing a visual task, guess what the friggin' best learning style is? Visual. Okay. Guess what the best learning style is for auditory? It's auditory, right? Now you can use what's called augmented feedback to, I don't know if I'm using that term correctly, but outside feedback to enhance the one modality feedback that you're getting. So let's say I'm doing a visual task and someone gives me some auditory feedback. Let's say, like, as I'm trying to trace a line, right, with my hand, this is a visual cue. Someone's also playing a tone that as I get further off the line, the tone changes. Okay, that would be a way to augment the feedback, okay, with different senses. But here's the thing: if it's a visual task and you're using a visual sense to learn it, you're going to be much faster. Hockey, athletics is, guess what? Kinesthetic, right? Feel-based. So it's a feel-based task. If you get very good at feel-based learning, you will get better faster. See? So this distinction, and that's the science behind it, right? This distinction of feel-based versus visual learners, right? Just forcing yourself to learn that is going to take you to that next level. It's going to take your trajectory from, and the reason it happens is because you're going from 0 to 1. You're creating, not just building on top of little tiny steps. You're finding the missing piece, finding that lever, and bang, ratcheting up your improvement. Let me check out the questions here. Okay, well, I will hang on for a second here. If anyone else who's watching has any questions, ask them quick. I don't have a ton of time today, because again, I'm running out the door to do some more filming. I'm going to answer Ross's question when he's back. I'm going to grab some water, because I seem to love to do that in between these questions. So if you have any questions, you might want to ask them right now. Actually, while I'm doing that, Daniel's got a question. Text me your question. For those who weren't here, I'm gonna replay Bruce Lee while I get some water.
Kick me. Kick me. What was that? An exhibition? We need emotional content. Try again. I said emotional content, not anger. Now try again. With me. That's it. How did it feel to you?
Let me think.
Don't think. Feel. It is like a finger pointing away to the moon. Don't concentrate on the finger or you will miss all that heavenly glory. Do you understand?
All right. We're back. Here's the question. Daniel, answer your question. Watch the last webinar. Actually, didn't we talk about this on the last webinar? He asked a question about a specific exercise, and I said that that's one of the 80-20 exercises. Come on, Daniel. You know this. We talked about this. I got a great question here. I gotta find out a way for people to text me, or, well, online. Would Bruce Lee have been a potential NHLer if born in Toronto and became as addicted to hockey as he did martial arts and had the resources to do so? Yeah, he probably would have. Yeah, I mean, Bruce Lee is a wizard. Bruce Lee is a wizard in all senses, right? He's got the magic mechanics, right? He literally, his quote is this: I fear not the man who practiced 10,000 kicks once. I fear the man who practiced one kick 10,000 times. He understands mechanics. He's got the best mechanics. He was 5'6" and could take a heavy bag and kick it, and whoop-boom, it would hit up against the roof. Whammo, bang! Okay? He's got the magic mechanics. He created his own philosophy called Jeet Kune Do, which I believe means, Aaron, you're going to have to correct me on this if I'm wrong. I think it's way of the fist or way of... Anyway, created his own philosophy, okay, his own formula, his own magic formula, okay? And then he didn't do hockey hypnosis, but he hypnotized everyone. He was extremely charismatic, okay? So he was extremely charismatic he was a movie star. Actually, in my yearbook in grade 12, I have a quote from Bruce Lee saying, "You just wait, I'm going to be the biggest Chinese star in the world." And that's his quote from, I don't know, whenever. So he's very charismatic. He is a wizard for sure. So if you plop him in any sport, and he didn't, let's say, in order to fight off people, he had to play hockey, he would be he's a wizard for sure. So you plop him in any sport. Right, the modern day Bruce Lee, I'd say, is Conor McGregor, except he's Irish, but he's got the thing that there's a lot of great MMA fighters out there. But the thing that fires me up and excites me is his charisma, his hypnosis, so to speak, and I love that he'll just straight up in a trash talking session. He's so confident and certain in his wild and crazy predictions that he literally causes everyone else to believe it too. So that's crazy to me. That's mental warfare on the highest level. Huh, Daniel. Daniel's saying that Bruce Lee reminds him of Eckhart Tolle. How is that? How is that? Everyone who's watching right now, tell me how Bruce Lee reminds you of Eckhart Tolle. So Eckhart Tolle is the author of Undoing the Ego, or Let me just Google that here. How can this guy remind you of Bruce Lee, Dan? Does this guy punch and kick too? Where's the Power of Now? I think is one of his books too. Let's see here. Yeah, Power of Now, A New Earth. Yeah, those are the two books. If what you mean by that is that Bruce Lee is very philosophical, yes, his major was in philosophy from University of Washington, I think. Again, I think Aaron should correct me on these things if I'm correct or not. Jeet Kune Do, Art of Expressing the Human Body. Yes, that's what it is. So the guy was a master of movement, magic, mechanics, movement. I think Bruce Lee's quote about philosophy was, he's studying it so that he can think deep thoughts about being unemployed. I think that's what it meant. Yeah, University of Washington. Yeah, exactly. So he, Striking Thoughts is a book that encompasses his entire philosophy. And if you've been watching Train 2.0 for a while, you'll see his fingerprints all over it in terms of philosophy. I don't like to think. I like to think philosophically. Okay, Ross, I hope you're back soon. Hurry up, because I gotta run. If you have any other questions before Ross gets back, that'll probably be my last. Ooh, okay, here's another one. Wasn't Bruce Lee hated for giving secrets away to the West? I think he was hated for that, and also I think he was hated for that, but then also just being a showman. In Asia. That makes sense. Okay, yeah. Daniel's saying everything is thinking rather than feeling rather than thinking. Yep. Yeah, feeling your movements and such. Another great book. A great book if you want to take on this feel-based learning idea is a book called The Inner Game of Tennis. And I don't know, I don't think it has anything to do with tennis technique. It has everything to do with how you learn tennis. This is, and the other one is called, hang on. It's written by Dan Millman. It is called Sorry, I've got a big, really large Kindle. Okay, let me search it. Sorry. Body Mind Mastery. Okay, Body Mind Mastery and The Inner Game of Tennis are your two manuals for becoming a feel-based learner. And then, so those ones, that's how Daniel's saying that it reminds him of thinking versus feeling. Yeah, and then was Bruce Lee hated for giving away secrets to the West? Yeah, I think it was part because he was charismatic, and then he kind of unshackled himself from the whole martial arts dogma, and then created Jeet Kune Do. So I think he was also reviled for that. I don't know if the whole secrets thing. The Chinese don't like giving away secrets. I don't think anyone likes giving away secrets. That's why I don't give away secrets. for free. And so is Canada gonna hate me for giving away secrets? The thing is, they never had these secrets. It's really just the secrets of the Wizards. There's a few people who might have these secrets in Canada, but they're not Canadian secrets. I unfortunately didn't learn these from Hockey Canada. I wish I had, but Canadians are the product of evolution and really, really competitive training, where the cream rises to the cream rises to the top. And that's how and why we get such good players, because it's just such a gong show at the lower levels. And there's so much competition and so cutthroat. Only the absolute finest talents can rise to the top. Compare it to other countries with smaller population bases. They have to be a little more thoughtful in terms of their development. So I don't think there's a whole bunch of secrets there. Feeling versus thinking is definitely, like I said, Dan Millman, Mind Body Mastery, and the other one. Okay, is Ross coming back? Okay, I'm going to answer Russ's questions because I'm going to have to take off here. When I speak of 80-20, how do I apply this to analyzing someone's shot, for example? Here's how I apply it. There he is. Perfect. Good. Okay, so how do I apply this? So when I first started coaching myself, or actually getting, here's the issue too, is when I was younger, there wasn't, a smartphone that I could just whip out and take video of myself, plop it up and shoot. If that was the case when I was growing up, I'd be a totally different player. It wasn't until I was kind of like 19, 20. So this is a tool that every single person has to become a way better player. So once I got to that point where we could use these things to capture ourselves, then what I did was I'd basically watch an NHLer, right? Watch someone with a fantastic shot, and I'd look at all the different things that I thought was different between what they did and what I did. And then I'd just start tweaking and adjusting to figure out what little change it was, or what aspect it was. Was it their foot placement? Was it their hips? Was it their hand placement? Was it their twisting? Was it their body angle? And I tested until I got to those unique little parts, right? Those little levers that made, boom, all the difference. So when I look at a shot, that's what I've already spent 10,000 hours doing, is looking at that shot and saying, what are those little levers? So you get, here's the most common but most brutal advice ever. Get your hands out. Yeah. That's the coach that surface thinkers and drone coaches are saying all the time. And I used to say it too, right? But I was like, after a bit, I was like, well, why? Like, go watch Alex Edler shoot and pass. His hand is like glued to his body. What's happening differently, right? Confirmation bias kicks in, right? Someone thinks, hands out is the thing, right? And then they look at all the examples of hands out, but it wasn't really ringing true for me. Like, watch Gretzky stick handle. And yeah, he didn't have the greatest shot, but his top hand is glued to his body. Right? Watch Alex Edler shoot and stick handle. His top hand glued to his body. Is his hand out? It comes out momentarily. What is that a product of? Product of some other stuff. The NHL code grip, where he's generating the tension in his body. So when I look at when I try and figure out 80-20, and like I said, I've honed in on the 20%. It's now my goal to get down to that 10 and 4% and teach it, boom, like this. That's what I do for the shot and the stick handling. Or sorry, shooting. For skating, same thing. It's like, what aspect of what's different between myself and Eichel, myself and McDavid, myself and Crosby, all these kids I'm coaching in Crosby, all these kids I'm coaching in McDavid, right? What's different between them and them? And then just start tweaking little adjustments to figure out which part is that unique lever that makes all the difference. And once you start taking this approach, and I'm giving away my secrets here in terms of my approach. So, hey, if you want to copy my approach, you and I will probably arrive at the same spot, and I give you all the kudos for that, and I give you all the credit. And so there's my secrets, there's my method, okay? And if you want to shortcut that, I've already figured out a lot of the stuff here. So for the skating, again, I just look at, and then this is where the look-feel paradox comes in, right? Because I look at what's happening, and I'm trying to figure out, well, like at what point do I make these adjustments that look right? It seems to look like what I'm doing, but does it feel good? And that's what a lot of coaches can't figure out, right? They like look at something, and they say like, oh, X amount of crossovers per stride, and they just say, here's the thing that's happening. Let's tell people to do it, right? And good, great. But unless they go and experiment and apply it in a game, right, and feel that motion for themselves, they know what shitty mechanics feels like, and they know what pure control feels like. They can't necessarily create that 80-20 and take it down to that 90-10, right? So that's my method. Like I said, I've done a lot of experimenting, and I've experimented again and again and again and again to figure out, to hone in, what are those little unique levers that are going to change everything. And that's what I call going from 0 to 1, because it's this little tiny adjustment that never would have been made with more reps. It's this little tiny adjustment. And for most people, the shot, it's all in the source code drills. It's your grip, and it's how you're creating tension in your body to use the whip of the stick to your advantage. And it's not the friggin' bottom hand, guys, and it's not hands out. So, anyway, next question here. Oh, I'm gonna go here. Okay, I'll try to answer this question quickly here. Not lacing up the top eyelet. Eichel, Gaudreau, McDavid, Stamkos, driving me crazy, yes or no? Yeah, actually, so here's the interesting thing is, as I've been learning the magic mechanics more and more and more and more, I'm realizing I've been actually practicing my movements and my feet from my skate digging into it. So that's kind of, I've been like thinking in my head, I didn't used to feel that before when I played. I didn't used to feel that before. I didn't have that. But my mechanics, as I go and practice and adjust, I've been noticing the skate blade and boot digging into my ankle. So when you say the top eyelet, that might be onto something, like the bow-leggedness thing. I remember one time I had a drone coach, come in to into my dressing room, like in Pee Wee, and just dogmatically say, everyone take out your top eyelet and play like that today. And I was like, okay. It felt like shit, and we didn't do it. Or we did it, but it felt like shit, and it didn't work. Because, again, this is a look-feel paradox in play here, right? They took their top eyelet out, go ahead and do it, right? Just copy them. But they don't understand the feel. They don't understand what's below the surface, right? These are the guys who are driving the Titanic, and kablamo! Sink ship. Done. Gone. Right? Those are those people. Yeah. The underside is the mechanics, right? If you get the skating mechanics dialed in, which is understanding the ice pressure, understanding the hip scissor, understanding heel cuts, right? All in the source code drills. So if you're a member watching, go practice these drills. They're set up for you to be a feel-based learner. They're set up for you to learn at the fastest rate possible and to learn the magic mechanics. Then all these other changes that people see, right, that people see on the surface, people are going to go, oh, wow, your hands are coming out now on the shot. Oh, you undo your top eyelet now. Oh, was that the trick? And you say, yes, it was the trick, right? Or, yes, my hand's coming out. That was the trick. And meanwhile, you keep your secrets to yourself, and your improvement goes, because you're going from 0 to 1, not 1 to n, not these little 10% improvements. So, guys, thank you very much for being on. I had a lot of fun again today. So, oh yeah, if you're not subscribed, make sure to subscribe. I think most of you guys are probably subscribed. Also, if you want to check out, I think it's here or here, is how to access the membership, which has the source code drills, which are the 80-20 drills that are going to make you feel-based learners as you're learning hockey skills. And every single variation, every single update of the membership area, each version is going to hone in more and more and more on from 80-20, 90-10, 95-5, so that 80-20 becomes your lever. It becomes your way to make exponential improvements. So if you're not a member already, check the link, one of these up here, and click and get started. You can try it out for 7 days to see if I'm full of it or not. I'm not, but you can test me, and that's there. Also, subscribe on YouTube, and hey, today, if you share this channel with someone and you let me know, just send me an email, just say who it is you shared it with, I'll hook something nice up for you. So, because I'd love to spread this around. Like I said to my members yesterday, my followers, I said, we need more people like you. We need people like you in hockey. Look around in hockey. Drone coaches, surface thinkers, abusive parents. I told the story, again, I told this a while back, of parents where I was at a fun game with 8-year-olds asking the kids who their favorite NHL players were and making them laugh on the bench. This was literally a fun game. There was no league, no nothing on the line. A fun throw together game. And these parents on the other bench were like this, shaking their head. One parent was over his kid. He's got his leg up on the bench, screaming at his kid. Kid's right here, screaming at him. I'm like, oh, man. I understand it's not a logical thing. I understand there's a lot of emotion involved. But, like, come on. Like, you guys are the smart ones in hockey. You guys are the rational thinkers. You guys are thinking philosophically. We need more of you, okay? So please take this, embrace it, embody it, share it, right? And please share it with one other person, maybe 3, who would be interested in watching this video. Let me know. I'll trust you. And I got something set up for you. So, follow, share, and we'll see you next time. Maybe tomorrow. Bye-bye.